Hi, I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design, and today I'm down cellar by the wood pile because it's the middle of the day and it's sunny, and I needed a place that was completely dark so we could look at a stove I'm playing with. So let me get the stove set up. I'll turn the camera back on and we'll run through this crazy thing. Okay, I was watching Hiram cook, and he was doing a review on a Flat Cat Gear. That's www.flatcatgear.com. And they had an isopropyl stove. And I think it's John, J-O-N, the guy that runs Flat Cat Gear, emailed me and sent me a link to his YouTube video of his stove. Okay, his stove has got, like, as near as I can tell, 50 jets on it, all kinds of little cutie things, and it's got some metal clip pot stands, which he's not going to include in the finished stove. And I found that odd because the secret to the whole thing is you have to have just a certain distance from the top of the stove to the bottom of the pot. And he doesn't supply a pot stand with it, although he had one on the prototype. So what I do, I just took a piece of hardware cloth. Now his has main jets, and then it has like another 36 little tiny jets up top he calls winker jets. Well, winker jets are not. I just made the pot stand a little bit higher and didn't put in the other 36 winker jets, and well, we'll see what we got. I think this is a steel stove. It's made out of a Campbell soup can that is steel. The aluminum ones don't seem to work. But this Campbell soup can, it has 12 3/16 holes in it, punched right at the line, and then I went up another 1/4 of an inch and cut it off. Now this is burning, and what he recommends, 70% rubbing alcohol, which you can get virtually anywhere. And we'll see how this goes. I'll see if I can get a lid here. This does not light easy. There we go. Now I'm going to turn the light out now. Now he recommends that you preheat this for a minute before you put the pot on. I don't have a stopwatch with me right now, so I'll talk for a minute. Now I've run this before, and the boil time on this with 2 cups of 64-degree water is about 11 minutes, 10, 11 minutes. The one he's got, I don't remember exactly what his starting temperature was, but his is 9 minutes, so it's roughly the same. He uses an ounce of 70% isopropyl. That's way more than you need. It burned for like 10 minutes after the boil. I think a ½ an ounce would do the job quite nicely. So let me get the camera down here a little bit lower so you'll be right there we go, right there. Okay, I think this is probably preheated. Let's put a pot on it and see what we've got. Okay, now it's burning yellow, but as it warms a little bit, that yellow will go away, as you'll see here in a minute. Now, I have burned this several times. There it goes. And brought it to a complete boil and let it boil another 20 minutes, and it produces no smut. When I get all done with the pot, I'll show you some pictures. I've got some pictures of the pot. Upstairs where I burned it in the daylight, there was no smut on the pot whatsoever. None. Zero. So that's definitely a good thing. The reason why I couldn't achieve it when I was messing around with it was because I made everything, as I do everything, I made it out of aluminum. And the aluminum evidently conducts heat too fast, and it makes the alcohol boil too vigorously, and you can't do anything with it. This stove is made out of a steel Campbell soup can, and it works fine. The steel can with 70% isopropyl alcohol works fine. If you go to 90%, not so much. But with a 70% and steel can, which is very, very easy to get, there's some water building up on the bottom of that pot and dripping down, and that's what's causing that yellow. But anyway, with 70% isopropyl and a Campbell soup can, it doesn't get any better than that, does it? Now, I noticed that this stuff burns extremely extremely hot. I can say that because with 2 cups of water, the boil is extremely vigorous. It's a very hot fuel. That's the good part. Now here's the bad part. This stove is absolutely useless in any kind of wind whatsoever. It has got to be absolutely dead calm. Anything other than that, and it won't work. It'll just smut up the pot and go out. Second thing is the gap between the top of the stove and the bottom of the pot is extremely sensitive. It has to be just right. That's the reason why I built a built-in pot stand right in it. Nothing high-tech, just 3 loops of hardware cloth slid down in there. And there's no simmer on this. It's one speed fits all. It's extremely sensitive in the wind. It's absolutely useless in cold weather. This stuff is hard enough to light in a room that's 80 degrees. You take it down to like 30 and you can't light it. It won't burn. You've got a 1-minute warm-up time. When you get done, after the burn's all over, there's usually about somewhere between a teaspoon and a tablespoon of water in the bottom. That's left over from the 70% isopropyl, which is 30% water. So you can see that's isopropyl 70% rubbing alcohol, and I think you can see right there that that's pretty cool. Now, like I said, the guy that makes these is www.flatcatgear.com. He makes these. They've got a whole bunch of little jets on them that looking at this one, I'd say you don't need, but they're there anyway. And for the 1 can, it's like 1 1/4 inches high. I don't know how big it is exactly because I don't have one. Anyway, he gets $25 for it plus shipping. I'm thinking myself, that's fine. He came up with a design. That's cool, but I was not going to pay $25 to try this design out. And since you can do it with a Campbell soup can, I think you see my point there. I think a Campbell soup can and probably a good set of 1/4-inch paper punch would probably get you into this. A little piece of hardware cloth for a pot stand. Now you can see even the furnace blower just came on, and it moved the air just a little bit. You can see this does not like any kind of wind at all. Now I'm going to just very lightly blow into this, and when I do, it'll just turn right to Smut City. I'm going to blow into it right now. That will smut up the pot. But if you cook with it in a very calm area, put a windscreen around it, and are careful, this will boil water, and it won't smut your pot. When you get done, your pot will look just the same as it did when you started. I mean, no smut whatsoever. Okay, I'm going to let this come up to a boil and then turn the camera back on and show you that, and then I'll show you the bottom of the pot when we get all done. Okay, I believe we have a boil now, so I'm going to turn the light on, and we'll take the camera off the tripod and take a look here. There we go. You can see that's a good hard boil from 70% isopropyl alcohol. So what I'm going to do is I'll let this finish burning. And when it's finished burning, I will pick it up with the carbon felt windscreen and dump the water out, and then let you look at the bottom of it under a good light. Okay, this just went out. Now I'm going to take this off of here. And I think the best way to do this is to take this off of here and go out in the sunlight where we can really see the bottom of the pot, and that'll give me a chance to dump the water out, which is obviously boiling right now. So let's go outside and do that. Okay, I'm going to set the camera right here for a minute. And we'll dump this water out. and then I can take the camera. Boy, this pot is hot. Trying not to burn myself. Not having a lot of luck on that. But okay, there we go. Boy, pot's hot. Okay, there's the bottom of the pot. And that's after several burns. Now look, there's nothing. Pot is just as clean as when I started with it. Completely clean. No smut whatsoever. He did a good job. The secret to the whole thing, I believe, is the steel. The rest of it's not that complicated. So that's the deal on that. Now when you get all done, you can see this or not. There's some water left over because it's 70% alcohol, but it's 30% water. So there's some water left over that you just dump out when you get done. It's just plain water, kind of murky water. So get down here where you can see me. So that's the scoop on that. Here's the stove. It's simply a Campbell soup can, cut off, 12 3/16 holes punched right at the ring, and then I went up another 1, 2, 3 rings and cut it off. And this is 3 loops of hardware cloth set inside to give you the right gap. And that's all there is to it. It's a steel can, and it's running 70% isopropyl rubbing alcohol. So I'm Tinny from Any Bull Design. Get out and hike, take a friend, enjoy the great outdoors, and more important than anything, try to have a really great day. Bye-bye.